It's finally spring again, and in this video I want to spread some inspiration from a bike fair I attended today. I will focus on mountain bikes, e-mountain bikes, but also a couple of interesting cargo bikes and commuter bikes that you may not ever heard of. These are the highlights from this show. Let's start with something familiar, Trek Top Fuel Gen 4 that was released last year. I've only ridden the Gen 3 Top Fuel, but the changes aren't that huge. It's still 130-120mm of travel with only slight geometry changes. The components are bigger, gone is the SID fork, and on this particular bike we find a Leans 34 fork. The frame is slightly slacker and weighs around 200 grams less. Can we still call this a downcountry bike? I think the paint job on this bike looks pretty nice, and here we also find a bit more normal suspension components. Sticking with the downcountry segment, there is also Merida's 120, which is very similar to the Top Fuel. It's 66 degrees up front, but it also comes with a 130mm fork. If you consider the Trek Top Fuel, you should also consider the Merida. Merida has also got something bigger in the lineup. The 160 is a very capable enduro bike, which can be equipped with a coil spring if you're into gravity-oriented riding. Based on the 160, we find the E160. I did a review of this bike, which you can find here. It's a big and heavy hitter, but it's way more playful and poppy than the last generation E160. It now comes in an even bigger configuration with 180mm in the rear and the revised rear linkage. Given how good the rear linkage used to be, I'm excited to test this bike shortly. There is a SL version of the E160 that comes with the Bosch SX motor, which is way more powerful than most other low-powered motors. But the star of the show is this bike with the Bosch CX Performance Gen 5 motor. That's world news right there. I haven't tried it yet. Some I talked to say that this is a clear step up from the previous generation. Rumor has it that there will be an update coming this summer that would take the torque up over the 100 Nm mark to compete with specialized new 3.1 motor and DJI of course. Speaking of specialized, here's more world news. The Gen 4 Turbo Levo, complete with a side-loaded battery, the new Bros motor which can deliver up to 111 Nm of peak torque. New ride dynamics, new display, new many things. I think I will have to do a review of this bike soon. The rear shock is the new Genie shock, which has got a 2-chamber system. The first 70% is pretty linear and should simulate the coil spring in its characteristics. The last 30% of the travel will activate the second chamber and ramp up the resistance to provide support in the deep hits. The stumpjumper 15 isn't an all-new bike, but it's an important bike. It seems as if many bikes this year have moved on to these SRAM Maven brakes. I wonder how they feel. The new stumpjumper seems to be a bit beefed up, and the expert version has now got the Fox 36 fork. Moving on to an even bigger bike, we've got a Cannondale Jekyll waiting for us in the corner. It looks to be very close to being a downhill bike, and I like this bash plate here in the front. Cannondale has got a Moterra SL here as well, a bike which I have tested briefly. A lightweight, full-powered bike, that's my cup of tea. It's close to 20 kilos despite the big motor, a big battery and proper enduro components. This is the last eMTB, and in my mind this is the most interesting eMTB here, even more so than the new Turbo Levo. The Nicolai has got a pinion motor and gearbox, which is paired with a belt to drive the rear wheel. It's got a distinctive look and it's a hand-built bike made from aluminium. It can be equipped with the Bosch motor together with the roll-off hub gearbox. I've tested that combination on a bike in this video, which I think was my very first bike review, so take it for what it is. I just have to take this bike for a spin. A cool thing is that I can change gear while standing still, like with the roll-off system. You can change gear while pedaling, but you're better off lifting a bit. That makes the gears change quicker. The brakes are Magura MT7s, which I think is the first time I test. Super powerful. This is definitely a heavy hitter and it weighs around 28 kilos, but the weights sit in the right place. the unsprung mass is lower because of this configuration. Ecoride is a Swedish brand that is slowly making its way into Europe. It's entirely made here in Sweden with a factory in my hometown Gothenburg. Still, it's great value for money. But my key point from this little visit is this GPS tracking device with a subscription service. Subscriptions may not sound that appealing, but what's good with this service is that it comes with an insurance that does not come with age deduction. If you have this system and subscription service, you will have a new bike at no cost in no time. There's not even any deductible to be paid. Over to some cargo bikes. Even if the ecoride cargo bike looks sweet, this is the Rolls-Royce of commuter and cargo bikes. A German riese muller with the powerful Bosch CX performance motor. Just a side note, quite literally, isn't this a cool idea on how to store your cargo bike? This is the last stop, also a Swedish brand called detrail. I tested this marathon bike in this video a couple of years back. It's lightweight and pedal efficient with great components fitted to it. Then there's also this enduro bike which now competes in the Swedish Enduro Cup. I tested that bike in this video. Detrail is sold online all over Europe, but it hasn't worked its way overseas yet. Right, that was some inspiration for the coming bike season for you. I hope to see you again soon.